Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get us started. Hello and welcome everyone that has joined us today. We are representatives from Lone Star Legal Aid, and we will be presenting on how a medical legal partnership can help you. Free legal services to improve your life and health. Again, we're Lone Star Legal Aid, and we are partnering with Lone Star Circle of Care. Before we get started with our presentation, I would like to go over a disclaimer. First things first, this is recorded. However, the Q&A will not be recorded. Anything that we discuss during this presentation is not going to constitute as legal advice. We are not your attorneys yet. You have to go through the process, so please bear that in mind. I'm going to pass this over to Schilla now.
Okay, so we abbreviated Lone Star Legal Aid as LSLA, and we serve in 76 counties by providing free advocacy, legal representation, and community education that ensures equal access to justice for all of our clients and applicants. Lone Star Legal Aid is the third largest legal aid provider in the United States. And we have 14 offices across the state of Texas. Over the past 2 years, Lone Star Legal Aid has initiated several medical legal partnerships with clinics in the Houston area.
And now I would like to introduce myself and briefly introduce my team before they introduce themselves. My name is Chansonique Rutherford. I'm the managing attorney of the Medical Legal Partnership. Next up, we'll have our staff attorney, Pete, and then finally, our paralegal, Schilla. Pete?
Hi, everyone. My name is Pete Makopoulos-Sentfleber. I'm a staff attorney here at Lone Star Legal Aid. I specifically work with this medical legal partnership for Lone Star Circle of Care. I started my legal career practicing mainly employment law and commercial litigation at a small litigation firm in the Bel Air area. And I'm now really excited to work with Lone Star Legal Aid and particularly this medical legal partnership because I really think that we can be a part of helping improve the lives and well-being of patients like you. And I look forward to all we can do when we work together.
Thank you, Pete. Schilla?
My name is Schilla Toussaint, and I'm the paralegal in the I'm one of the paralegals in the MLP unit, working alongside with Pete and Chansonique with assisting any clients and applicants with help in the process of Lone Star Circle of Care if they do need help. And I've been with Lone Star Legal Aid for about over a year.
Yes, Sheila's been a great addition to our team. I do want to add that I have most of my experience is family law, so that's pretty much where I specialize and assist. But everyone in our unit is pretty much a generalist, so we can solve pretty much any civil legal issue that's presented to us.
All right, great. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what MLPs are and what they can do. So I know this is probably new to you. Honestly, to me as a lawyer, it was new to me until about 6 months ago when I started looking into this position. So it's a relatively new concept. And it's really, I think, a pioneering and great concept. It's a cooperative partnership between doctors and lawyers to help improve mental, physical, and emotional health of patients like you. And it's kind of a complex relationship, but we'll get to how it works and why it works. So doctors and healthcare providers provide the connection, the conduit between you, the patient, and an MLP lawyer like myself to help you. And then MLP lawyers like myself help you secure and ensure vital benefits like unemployment, supplemental security income, Social Security disability insurance benefits, SNAP or food stamps, temporary assistance for needy families, WIC benefits, and housing vouchers, among other things. We also help resolve legal issues that are otherwise overwhelming for people that don't do this as a job, non-lawyers. patients like you who might be overwhelmed by something, that we can help guide you and provide you the resources to walk you through or represent you during that matter. Overall, not having to be your own attorney and focus on your health, well-being, and all the other stressors of life will, in theory, reduce your stress and help you get access to resources that you might not otherwise even know about, or help you get those benefits restored in the case where they were denied and you need to appeal, and you need somebody to help you with that process. So how does this concept work? Why does it work? What do doctors and lawyers have in common besides a bunch of student loan debt? Your health is impacted by things beyond what doctors can address. And I know that may sound really strange to you, but it's not just about medication or what happens at your annual physical. It's about all the other things that happen in between. Your health isn't just defined by your blood pressure or your glucose level. It's impacted by all the things that happen to you every day, your income level, your health insurance status, whether you have access to adequate housing and utilities in that housing, your education, your employment status or ability to get unemployment benefits when you're not employed, your immigration status here in the United States, your personal and family stability. All of those things actually make up more than half of what determines your overall health, 60% according to research. And you might think, you know, we live in one of the greatest, if not the greatest country in the world. We have phenomenal healthcare system and we have all kinds of other industrialized programs and abilities to help people. Why are we ranked so low? We're ranked 42nd in life expectancy in the world and 169th in low birth rate, which is a key indicator of what an infant, child, and in the future an adult's health is going to look like. Well, that is probably related to this fact. The United States only spends about 90 cents on social services, so those programs that help you with access to employment, housing, and all that other good stuff, for every dollar it spends on healthcare. That sounds like, okay, it might be equal. That's pretty average spending amount. Well, all the other first world countries that have better health outcomes spend $2 in social services for every $1 they spend in healthcare. So while other countries are spending 2 to 1, we're not even spending 1 to 1. And what that's doing is creating health problems for people because, again, 60% of your health is determined by things that are not from a doctor's office. This is where MLP lawyers step in and help. Because of those social factors, these are the things lawyers are trained to help with. Not only do doctors not have the time or the means or the resources, but they don't have the training. They're trained in a much different set of skills. Things that we can't do, they can do. And the things that they can't do, we can do. And that's why this is a good fit. We are, you know, the couple that is an opposite that attracts. We complement each other. And so that's why an MLP is important and it works. Now you might be asking, okay, legal aid is available. Schilla told us Lone Star Legal Aid is the 3rd largest legal aid provider in the United States. What's special about an MLP program? I could just call the intake line. Well, let's look at how private lawyers, people that you would pay by the hour or retain on a contingency basis, compared to legal aid lawyers, people like myself who don't receive an hourly rate or other payment from you. Well, a private lawyer, for every 429 people, there's 1 lawyer available for them. A legal aid lawyer, for every 6,415 people in poverty, there's 1 legal aid lawyer available for them. To put that into smaller numbers that make sense, if you were a part of the general population seeking a private lawyer versus a person that is seeking a legal aid lawyer, you are 1 in 16. You have 1 in 16 smaller of a chance at securing that benefit. That doesn't mean you won't get it, but it just means what you have to do is go through a general intake process. You have to call Lone Star Legal Aid's main intake line. You have to submit a form online. You have to fill out that questionnaire. That might take a while because they're assisting, again, all those thousands of people looking for legal aid lawyers across our huge state of Texas. But as somebody that's a patient of an MLP clinic, you have a direct connection to a designated legal aid staff member. In this case, for Lone Star Circle of Care, myself, Schilla, and Chansonique. You're not going to be subject to that general intake line. You're going to have a shorter wait time to get assistance versus the other route, which is just going through our main intake. And so I think that has a lot of benefits when you consider that some of these things are really time sensitive, especially in the time of COVID, where there's a lot more emergency situations that come up. So I think that's really valuable. And even for a non-emergency, it's so much better to have help and get stabilized sooner rather than later. So how are health and legal issues connected? I think it's a little bit complex, so I wanted to break it down by the type of health issue and the legal issue that it may present, because sometimes you won't even know you have a legal issue. You'll just know something's not right, or this situation is really unfavorable for me. I'm not having a good time in life right now. What can I do to make it better? Well, I've compiled this chart and I'll go over them kind of quickly to give you a brief overview, but there's tons and tons of examples. And like Chansonique said earlier, our unit is made up of generalists, meaning we can help with nearly any civil issue. As long as it's not a criminal matter, we can probably help you with it. If for some reason we're not able to assist you, we can probably connect you to some resources, and we'll talk about that later. But for now, let's focus on a health issue and how that can be a legal issue we can help with. Well, the first set are these diet-related health problems, and I want to give the disclaimer before I go into these. I'm a juris doctor, not a medical doctor. So I do not pretend to be any kind of expert on these medical issues, but I will just say that, you know, sometimes you have these problems here that strongly correlate to your diet in many occasions. That's not to say always, but a lot of times they do. So here are some examples. If you have type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, you're over or underweight, you have osteoporosis, you have some sort of vitamin deficiency, vitamin D, vitamin C, something like that, or heart disease. What could be a legal problem that would cause that? Well, for one, you might not be able to afford the food that you need to adequately nourish yourself and maintain your diet in a way that would prevent or mitigate the harm from these health problems. So you might qualify for SNAP or food stamps or WIC packages that can help you get that food that you need and have to help improve your health. Or if you did get these things before and they were somehow denied, you may need help appealing that. That's something a MLP attorney like myself can help you with. You may have those food stamp benefits or the WIC food packages, but you may just be short on other income to supplement that food budget. Well, you may qualify for SSI, SSDI, temporary assistance for needy families, and you've never gotten that, or it's been reduced or discontinued and you need to get it back. That's a legal problem an MLP lawyer can help resolve. Another health issue would be physical ailments like bruises, sprains, cuts, broken bones, physical injuries, legal issues that those might relate to. You might be the victim of domestic violence. It's a really unfortunate and very common scenario, and you might need legal protection like a protective order, assistance in getting a divorce, assistance in getting custody of your children to keep them safe. Those are things MLP lawyers like myself can help you with. You might have been a victim of a violent crime, sexual assault, and you may be entitled to monetary compensation because of that. Again, something we can assist with. You might be a human trafficking victim. Unfortunately, Houston's consistently in the top 5 for human trafficking, and human trafficking brings a host of issues like income instability or immigration status concerns. MLP lawyers can assist you with those. Another health issue that you could have, you only go to the doctor once in a while because you only go when things are really bad because you don't have health insurance coverage. Well, as you know, sometimes preventative care is the best care that you can get because it stops those bad things in their tracks, or it at least gives you a runway to address them before they get worse. Well, you may, even though you're uninsured, qualify for some form of coverage, Medicaid, CHIP for your kids, or you might be able to afford a marketplace plan and you just don't know how to go about it when your deadlines are or what to do. An MLP lawyer can walk you through that and help provide you with those vital resources so that you can go to the doctor to get that preventative care and make sure that you don't end up getting those emergencies or extreme illnesses because you put off the preventative care. Some more examples here. Inadequate housing, especially here in Houston, is a major problem. You could have respiratory issues caused by moldy carpet after a hurricane or a bad storm. You can get lead poisoning or lead exposure from paint, bad pipes. Heat stroke, hypothermia, other illnesses caused by exposure to extreme temperatures. Almost every day is an extreme temperature here. I think we all know that. So you can be exposed to one of these if your house isn't, or your housing situation, apartment, whatever it may be, isn't properly insulated, maintained, or you don't have climate control. You could also be subject to bites, rashes, infections, wounds caused by pests in your housing. And that's a legal issue because while all of those medical conditions are a problem that you should address, well, you should also fix the underlying housing problem too. And you may have a claim against your landlord to rectify the housing issue or obtain money damages for that. And you might also qualify for a housing voucher, rental assistance, or some other monetary relief that could enable you to get out of that situation and into a better place. Another set of health issues, these are super common: exhaustion, lack of sleep, or physical symptoms caused by poor working conditions. You have a chemical burn, you have a respiratory issue because you're breathing in fumes and dust and chemicals. You have a broken bone because you fell off something at work. You have a scrape or a burn or a cut. You have a disease that's caused by exposure to toxic or hazardous materials, and that's caused a certain type of cancer or skin disease or virus or something. Well, the legal issue that may bring is that you're in unsafe working conditions and you may have a claim against your employer to get those resolved. And you also may just be working excessive hours and not being properly compensated for that. So you might have a legal issue where you are entitled to get your compensation, either back pay or overtime pay or something else. And that can tremendously help when you get that compensation or back wages that you are owed. And finally, I know I've talked about quite a few of these, but that's because there are so many of these problems. I'm not even scratching the surface, I don't think. But if you're experiencing lack of sleep, stress, or new or worsening mental health conditions, mental health just as important as physical health. Anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation, thoughts, gender dysphoria, all of these are conditions that can dramatically impact your quality of life and your day-to-day. What legal issues could give rise or make these worse? A ton. I try to list just some samples here. You may have a family law matter that's increasing stressors in your private life. You need a divorce. You're considering a divorce, but you don't know what it would entail. You need a change in the custody or possession arrangement of your children, or you're in the middle of a custody battle in your divorce. That's something a legal aid attorney like myself can assist you with. For transgender, gender nonconforming, non-binary people, you may have mental health problems that are brought on or made worse by the fact that you don't have legal identifying documents that match your name and the gender or sex identifier that you align with. So you're having trouble getting employment or traveling or going back to school because you don't want to show that ID that has a different name, or you don't want to show that ID that has a different gender or sex identifier on it, or you feel like you can't. Getting that corrected is something that a lawyer like myself can assist you with, and that will change your quality of life. You may also be coping with immigration matters related to your legal status here in the US, or facing eviction or foreclosure. During COVID, this has become a massive problem. We have had a flood of foreclosures and evictions, and that's only seemed to be getting worse. A legal aid attorney like myself is equipped to help you address that and fight those issues and get resources to hopefully save you from being subject to something like that. You may also just be experiencing a consumer law matter, like a debt collector calling you constantly, and you're wondering, what are my rights? What can I do about this? Can they call me at 3 in the morning? Can they call my workplace? We can help you answer those questions and take steps to remedy things. And finally, again, another common one here in the Gulf Coast area, you may be subject to a natural disaster and you're entitled to relief or other assistance, there's programs available to help you get out of that. And so those are, again, just some of them. There's a ton of them. As Chansonique mentioned, we're generalists. There's a range of legal problems, and most health problems relate to some sort of legal problem. And fortunately, a lot of those have ways to be addressed. It's all just about getting you connected to the resources. And so I am going to go ahead and pass along to what issues we can assist with broadly, and I will pass this back to Chansonique.
Thanks, Pete. So Pete already covered a lot of things that we can assist with, but I'm going to give an even more exhaustive list, but not totally exhaustive. You can help with evictions, foreclosures, consumer matters such as debt collections, if Capital One is suing you for a credit card debt, for example, residential lockouts, housing issues, if there's a mold issue that you've requested your landlord to repair and they have failed to, SNAP food stamp benefits, WIC benefits, if you're pregnant or have children, young children, SSI, SSDI, the appeals associated with that, divorce, custody, protective orders, name changes, gender sex marker corrections, TANF, unpaid wages, guardianships, health insurance coverage, Medicaid, CHIP, Gold Card, unsafe work conditions, unemployment benefits, immigration issues, wills, power of attorney, healthcare directives, end of life planning, estate planning. There's just so many civil issues that we can assist with. If you even think you have a civil issue, you should just apply to see if it's something that we can assist you with. As long as it is not criminal, we can, if not help, connect you to resources to help you. And now I'm going to give it to Schilla.
Okay, so if you do feel like you have an issue like Chansonique mentioned or Pete, you can go to the Lone Star Circle of Care office for an appointment. And if you are a new patient, then you should receive the MLP questionnaire and your new patient paperwork. If you are not a new patient and you would like to receive services through our MLP, just ask the front desk or your care provider, and they should be able to give you the MLP questionnaire. So either the medical assistant, the nurse, or the physician. And you would just need to complete and sign the questionnaire fully. It's going to prompt you whether you have issues and you want to speak to an attorney or one of us, or it's going to prompt you that you do have these issues, but you just don't want to speak to us. And your next step will be then you'll just have to wait and we'll contact you. So Lone Star Circle of Care will provide Lone Star Legal Aid with your completed questionnaire. And within about 2 weeks or less, a paralegal, such as myself, will contact you, obtaining any background information, financial information that you can provide so we can make sure you qualify for our services. And if you don't qualify for our service, we will direct you, sending you a letter explaining why we can assist you and provide you with any information or resources as to who may be able to assist you if we can't. And if you are eligible for our services, which majority of our patients and clients are, then an attorney such as Pete will advise you and I will probably sign you up as a client so that he can represent you. So another example on how it works, if you're going to a doctor's appointment at Lone Star Circle of Care for back pain, at your appointment, you'll receive a MLP questionnaire with your paperwork. You'll indicate you would like help because you lost your job due to your back pain. And this is what the questionnaire looks like. We have a disclaimer up ahead where it just explains to you, instructing to you our services, and it's going to be directed to Lone Star Legal Aid. So whatever you check off and you sign and you check off that box where it says, I do not want to speak to a lawyer about these issues, then it won't be passed on to us. But this is exactly what it looks like when you do go to the clinic. It's just pretty much giving us, you know, permission, so that way Lone Star Circle of Care can pass that information on to us, and then we can give that information to them if need be. So you complete the questionnaire and provide it to the front desk. And then Lone Star Circle of Care provides the questionnaire to us. So,
Okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, Sheila, you're doing great. You can go ahead.
No, you got this.
Okay, so our paralegal, Sheila, she will call you to ensure that you are in fact eligible for our services. Please allow us to determine if you are eligible. Don't try to determine on your own accord or, you know, if you're eligible. Just submit and let us decide that. And the number that will be calling you is 713-652. That's like the beginning digits of our number. So if you see that on your caller ID, it's us, answer, or, you know, call us back when you can. And then once it is determined that you are eligible for our services at LSLA, Pete or another attorney in our MLP will call you and provide you with advice regarding for example, unemployment benefits, or how to retain a custody case, how to retain custody during the call. And at that time, it may be determined that he can, in fact, help you with that. And after that is determined, you will receive a representation agreement, and you will have to sign all these documents, you know, now that you are officially being represented by us. And then you will have received this wonderful free legal representation courtesy of Lone Star Legal Aid and through your connection as a patient of Lone Star Circle of Care.
Awesome. Thanks, Chan and Sheila. All right, I'm going to cover some frequently asked questions, which I promise are shorter than my spiel about health issues. And hopefully these will provide some clarity about the things we talked about today. So the first frequently asked question that we get is, I'm afraid I'm not eligible for Lone Star Legal Aid services. Should I still complete the MLP questionnaire, that 2-page document that we pulled up on the screen earlier when Sheila was describing it? Yes. LSLA's eligibility criteria is a little complex, and there's a lot of exceptions and exemptions. And luckily, all of our paralegals have been trained on these exceptions, exemptions, and the criteria. So all you have to do as a potential client is complete the MLP questionnaire so that Sheila or another Lone Star Legal Aid paralegal can determine if you are eligible using that criteria. So this will take about 15 to 30 minutes on a phone call with one of our paralegals, and filling out that 2-page questionnaire at your appointment, obviously, so we can get the information to contact you initially. But the result of that could be that you qualify for free life-changing services. So in my opinion, it's definitely worth your time. Like we talked about earlier, some of these benefits have quite a bit of value to them, and they can be lifelong benefits. So absolutely fill out your 2-page questionnaire. If you think you have a problem that you want to come to us with and you're not sure if you're eligible, we'll determine that. And engage in the 15 to 30 minute intake call with one of our paralegals so that we can secure that eligibility and contact you if you are eligible. And if you're not eligible, we will let you know, so you don't have to worry about wondering. I'm not sure what legal issues I have specifically. I just know I'm struggling. Should I complete the MLP questionnaire? So like I was talking about before, you might not even know what remedy you have or what benefit you're entitled to or what specific legal issue you have. But you could know that something's not quite right. So should you complete the MLP questionnaire? Absolutely. An LSLA attorney will contact you and consult with you to discuss your particular situation and what, if any, relief is available to you based on your circumstances. So come with us with the symptoms, so to speak, or the issues that you're having. We'll try to identify the legal issues for you and the solutions to those legal issues and explain whatever we can to you, or tell you, unfortunately, that's not really a legal issue or something, a legal issue with a remedy, so you at least have that peace of mind. But again, a lot of these common legal issues do have remedies or things that can help make things easier for you, thankfully.
Okay, so we have some more FAQs. Does LSLA charge for its services? No, we do not. We are a legal aid provider. Our services are free for applicants who qualify. That's why everyone should apply. Can LSLA help me with blank? Anything that's not criminal? Probably, yes. LSLA attorneys help with a wide variety of civil legal issues. And if we are not able to help you for whatever reason, we can probably provide you and connect you with information and resources so that you can get the help you need. We have other partners, other community partners that we have close connections and relationships with that we can refer you to. So fill out an MLP questionnaire to see if and how we can help you. Even whenever we send our closing letters, we send a thick packet of resources that can connect you to rental assistance, renter rights, and just all types of information that you may not have been privy to. I'm a brand new Lone Star Circle of Care patient. Can I still participate in the MLP? Definitely and absolutely. We want all of LSCC's patients. So please complete an MLP questionnaire. And if for whatever reason, if you don't get one, ask for one. If you need help filling it out, I'm sure someone would be willing to help you fill it out.
All right, I have more than one legal issue. Will LSLA help me with all of them? So we likely will be able to assist you with all of your legal issues so long as you're eligible for our services and your legal issues are civil, not criminal. So most of the time people do have more than one legal issue, or if you qualify for food stamps, you may also qualify for SSI or some other benefit to help you out. We're not going to pick and choose and just say we're going to help you with this one. We will do a full evaluation, see what things we can assist you with, and help you with whatever we can. And again, if we can't help you, we'll give you those resources. Why does Lone Star Legal Aid ask for and insert a specific piece of information here? A copy of my legal permanent resident card or my social security number, how many people live in my household. Well, we ask for that information. By we, 99% of the time it's going to be our paralegals doing that initial intake. We ask for that information because we're funded by numerous grants so that we can provide these services free of charge. And our grant funders determine what makes people eligible and not, and what information we have to collect. So in order to keep our services free, we have to make sure that we're obtaining that information and those documents to make sure that you qualify and are eligible. Trust me, we're not just doing it to be mean or difficult, and I don't think it's a very burdensome eligibility screening process, in my opinion. So again, we're asking all these things because we have to keep our services free, and it shouldn't be too much of a time or effort commitment. Like I said, it's the 2-page questionnaire, about 30 minutes on a phone call, and maybe a little bit of follow-up information, but it shouldn't be an exercise that takes a lot of effort out of you. Where can I go to learn more about Lone Star Legal Aid and its services? You can check out our website. It's right there on the screen, www.lonestarlegal.org. We just redid it. I think our communications team did a great job on it. It's got a lot of helpful resources. It's got videos, other presentations to help you learn about your rights and remedies as a tenant, as an employee, as a parent in a divorce. There is a lot of information on the website, and it just helps you see what kind of legal issues are out there and what kind of help there could be. The website itself isn't legal advice, but it gives you some background about what we do and how we do it that can help you maybe see how the MLP and our attorneys here can help you with this. All right, so now that we've asked all the frequently asked questions, we are going to stop recording and open the floor to any questions from you